What's up, everybody? It's Justin again. I'm back again with another video. Thanks again for tuning in. And I'm so excited to share with you that I got all of day 3 photos back of the Nightscape conference. And I got about half of night 2. I'm missing some pretty sweet shots of Maroon Bells itself and a good portion of a time-lapse that I was doing for some long star trails, which is a bummer. But the plus side is I got the big main panorama that I took at the end of the night and some other kind of basic shots that I took at the end of the night as well. So still super excited about those. And I was really excited about that panorama. So I'm glad that that came through. So enjoy this video. At the end, I am going to throw in some extra pictures for day 4 that I actually lost those images, but I didn't realize it because I cleared the card and backed it up. And, you know, I realized that I did lose them because I was looking through them and I swear to God I took them and I couldn't find them, so I must have lost them. And I'm so glad I got those back because there's some beautiful images there as well. So, again, thanks for tuning in and let's get on with the video.
So here is basically the only video that you're going to see for the rest of the actual video in itself. When I recovered all of the images, I was not able to recover any videos. So night 2, basically the whole idea, as stated just like in the last video, was I was going to go to that back bridge area, do all that star trails and the Milky Way and whatnot, and that didn't really work out. So I ended up doing some other stuff, did the star trails, went to sleep, went back, got the camera. I was able to get the star trails images back, at least some of them. I got about 108 pictures back, and what you're seeing here is a stack of about 25 of those images. You can see the nice green and kind of yellow air glow there. That's what I really like about this image. And you're going to actually see a time lapse coming up here as well. And that is what you're going to see here. This is all of those images put together. So this is what's called a star trail image. And what you do is there's a couple ways you can do this. So you can either take one really long exposure. You'll have to adjust your settings to get the proper exposure, where you can have everything done in one photo. That can heat up your sensor, so it's better to do that on a cold night. But the other way to do it is to take multiple exposures and stack them together in a program such as Photoshop or Starry Landscape Stacker or Sequitur, or I think there's a program literally called Star Trails as well, or something similar. But yeah, so that's basically how you do star trails. And what you're going to see upcoming next is, yes, the grand panorama of the night. I have to do a panorama. Always do. I am just so captivated by the Milky Way arch. And one thing I want to do more of is lower arches. I really like the big dramatic arch, or the halfway arch is what I call it. When the Milky Way is like straight up and down, there's a really huge dramatic arch. Then when it's like halfway up, there's that medium arch. And when it's really, really low on the horizon, you get a really small arch. But I just love this shot so much. I regret not doing a full 360-degree panorama of the sky and the foreground. I really only did the parts that I needed to do to cover the sky. So it was like a 200-degree panorama. But regardless, I absolutely love how this came out. The really jagged mountains on the left-hand side with the really green air glow behind it really came out awesome with the detail in the foreground. You know, the white on the mountains looks really good. I couldn't believe how bright the snow was there. And I mean, the air glow there was just fantastic. And the Milky Way, just the amount of detail in it because it's just so dark, was awesome. I honestly think Maroon Bells was probably one of the darkest places I've been to besides Utah. Such a fantastic spot to shoot astro, and it really is a bummer that the core is pretty much hidden from here 100% of the year. Maybe later it does pop up in that corner under different conditions or different times of the year, but I don't know. I'll have to go back and check it out another time. Just probably requires more hiking. Awesome. Yeah, the rest of the shots are of this big mountain that was just to the left of Maroon Bells itself. I really liked how the Milky Way was lining up very vertically with the mountain. And you see here that I have a portrait orientation and I have a landscape orientation shot of this. And on to day 3. So I'm going to try to speed run the story for the sake of time, but going back home from Maroon Bells, I ended up going home at around maybe 5:30 a.m., went to sleep until about 9:30, woke up, got all the way to Glenwood Springs, which is about half an hour, and realized I forgot my winter coat back at the house, so I had to drive all the way back, so I really didn't get on the road until about, I want to say, 11, really? So then I began the 8-hour drive to my hotel. And as you can see through these last photos, just tons of breathtaking views. I ended up stopping quite a few times because there were just so many beautiful flower fields everywhere. And so I ended up taking Highway 70 into Utah. Then I took 191 down through Arches and Moab and all that good stuff. And then it took me into northern Arizona, which you can see I took these photos of these giant rocks formations with the flowers, and man, it was just so beautiful to go through all that. Then it took me up Highway 98 into Page, Arizona, and then into my hotel that was in Big Water. I took a shower, got ready to go. I believe I took like maybe another 2-hour nap, and then I got to meet with my friend Kathy, who then gave me the location of a place that we were going to go. It's like a really, really amazing place that this was my bucket list place that I wanted to go to this entire conference. And it's this place that's called the Great Chamber. It is only available if you have some sort of 4x4 vehicle, such as a Jeep or a truck. And luckily she's got a Jeep. And we went out there, and Aaron King of Photog Adventures, I'll go and leave a link here on the side. He was leading a workshop there, and it was really cool to meet him because I actually won his Winter Milky Way Panorama competition. Aaron, if you're watching this, thanks so much. I really appreciate your help, and it was great to meet you at the conference. So here are the photos of the Great Chamber for you guys to check out. This first shot here is the first focus stacked and tracked image of the night. It was also blended in with that shot that you see me right kind of in the middle there on the top of the hill. Obviously, I'm right in between that Rho Ophiuchi complex, which is that star cluster that you can kind of see those dust lanes of the Dark Nebula kind of jet out to. That's called Rho Ophiuchi. And again, just the track shots get so much color. It's so awesome. Here is another track shot, again, from a different point of view of the cave. I got out my trusty trigger flash that I use to take a lot of my selfies in when I do self-portraits for night photography. It adds that nice element of scale to the image to kind of put a person out in the picture. And using the trigger flash is great because it creates a lot of contrast in the foreground because you can see all the little divots and rivets in the sand, and it's really, really cool. This next shot is actually a stacked shot, so I could not get my star tracker polar aligned again because Aaron had then left, and my phone was not working with the polar alignment, so I decided to just do a stacked shot, which is a different way to do clean night images. By stacking multiple images on top of each other, the program will auto-align the Milky Way and the foreground, and it will reduce noise, which is a great way to do night photography. So after this shot, Kathy and I decided to pack up, and right outside of the cave, there was this hill, and I saw it, and I had the idea in my mind, and I knew I had to get this shot. I decided to do a 50 millimeter panorama, just a 2-shot pano, just one shot, and then you pan upwards, take another shot. This was both in landscape orientation, and then I take one shot for the foreground with me standing at the top looking out at the Milky Way. And obviously the shot that you're seeing right here is the shot that I'm talking about, and it came out amazing. I was able to align, even though I still couldn't see the North Star. It worked with my phone enough to where I could do 60 seconds on a 50 millimeter, which is surprising that I did it with my phone, but that's great that it worked. So after that, we decided to, obviously we were done. We walked back down to the car and took the short ride out. Not really short, it's about 45 minutes back to the main parking lot where I parked my car. And of course, seeing where we were in the big open field, I was filled with inspiration and ideas for another shot. Me being obsessed with panoramas and mosaics and putting many images together and putting them into a larger image, I saw the Milky Way just really nice and vertical, and I was like, oh man, this would make a great mosaic. So what did I do? I got everything back out, and I got the 50 millimeter out to make it even more complicated, and I decided to do a 16 shot mosaic of the Milky Way. I did 4 rows of 4 for the sky, and then I did 1 row of 5 for the foreground, just to be safe. And this is the shot that you're seeing here, is the one that I'm talking about, obviously. And I just am absolutely in love with this shot. It's a little bit tall for my liking, but that's just because I did the 4x4 in 1 row for the foreground. I need more foreground. And it needs to be wider as well. But other than that, like, this shot is stellar. The detail in the Milky Way is just phenomenal. And that is going to end night 3. What happened was, for these photos, they got lost because, obviously the hard drive crashed, but it crashed right after I formatted the card when I got back to the hotel after these shots. So I lost these. So here's just a great shot with my car. Beautiful rainbow I had to pull over for. Then I have this amazing panorama that I took with the rainbow, and just how the clouds are hanging down. I just freaking loved how that looked, and absolutely probably favorite daytime panorama to date. I took some general shots of the clouds. I might put it for some sky replacement later, and oh my god, the sunset was awesome. I really love this next upcoming shot, this portrait shot. Just the way the sky is like on fire there. It looks like fire is hanging down from the sky, and I just love this shot so much. But guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video, and if you wouldn't mind, shooting me that like, subscribe, and give me some comments down there. And if you have any suggestions on videos that you would like me to make, or anything that you'd like me to cover. Otherwise, continue to watch my series here of the Nightscape Conference and the little vacation that I took for photography. So anyways, thanks so much, guys. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.